I see so many brands not doing a listen first strategy, but rather doing a content first strategy. And I always talk about how important it is to listen first. And at IBM, what we talk about is a four-step strategy. Listen first, then curate from trusted sources, engage, right? Be social on social, and then create content, publish content. And for the longest time at IBM, we only did those first three things. And we were able to drive significant results by just doing those three things before my team even had content people who could make assets for us. So maybe because we were in the situation where we didn't really have a choice to do much social content creation, we honed our chops in sort of a backward way compared to the way a lot of other brands do it. But in the end, it, in my mind, is the right 4 steps. Content last. I always say content is not king. Engagement is king. Social, at the heart of it, is what we do on my team. And without the engagement part of it, you're not behaving socially in any way. So the same way that you would handle a business meeting or going to an event, you don't walk into a room and just start handing cards to people you haven't had a chance to shake hands with and introduce yourself to. You need to talk to people. You need to build the one-on-one relationships, and social is no different. A lot of practitioners, again, talking about this content first approach, don't do the engagement piece because it's the most difficult piece. If your brand is in distress, engagement is even more challenging. So it's the hardest piece to me. You can tool listening. You can use tools to drive sharing from trusted sources and curating. The engagement piece is very, very personal and very, very difficult, and is, in my mind, one of the hardest things to teach people how to do. But those who are highly social off the web make tremendous engagers on the web. My greatest challenge is that there seems to still be a perception that social is both cheap and easy, and it's neither. And I think that that's starting to resonate as a talking point with a lot of people as they try to get into paid and succeed inside of paid. You can't just take any old ad you've created and sponsor it on Facebook and expect to drive any real results. So a critical pain point for me is that perception that this does not require meticulous work. Social is incredibly difficult, but it still is this complicated dance where you literally have to care, So it's not cheap, it's not easy, it takes effort. You have to want to be there. I always say to people that the best social practitioners are people who live on the web, live and breathe the web, right? And those people who wake up in the morning and they want to know everything that's happened since the night before, and throughout the day they're paying attention to what's going on around the world. And that's not cheap and that's not easy. There are a lot of employers who maybe don't give their social people the amount of time required to live and breathe the web, and I see that out there. So that's, to me, probably the big pain point. I think that there are still a great deal of people who feel that by showering the world with assets, they will somehow drive some kind of meaningful results. And I think, actually, in the world of communications, that can be a really powerful thing. I think in the world of social, it works against your actual goals. So the more that you shower the world with your assets, the less of a chance they have to get to know you and to feel something about what it is that you're sharing and to want to actually interact with you. So less is more, absolutely. I think that it would be clear to anyone who studied our primary channels, I think that they would see that we follow a model where most everything that we publish, we have curated from across IBM. So pieces of news, articles, some great asset that we found that the business created. When I talk about social content, I'm talking about the couple of pieces a week that we do to teach people something simple but useful, to surprise and delight. These are the pieces that keep people coming back to us, and these are the pieces that drive the most engagement. When you can take time to build some beautiful asset that's meaningful in some way and feels personal in some way, or makes you feel something for the person in the video, or teaches somebody something they didn't know that they want to share, that's where you're really gonna drive engagement and results.